So today I wanted to talk about the legacy that you're leaving behind. I somewhat talked about it in this video up here, which you can watch from last year, but spoiler alert, it's not as polished as my newer videos. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about legacies. If you conduct one quick YouTube search about leaving a legacy, you'd see videos upon videos, and you can keep scrolling forever when it comes to videos on leaving a legacy. But I've said before that when someone famous or when someone that's made an impact on the world passes away, it's like the world stops for a minute. Or if you were important, maybe an hour. If you were super important, maybe a day. And if you were hyper important, maybe just 2 days, sometimes a little bit longer than that. But then everyone has to go on with their lives because the world doesn't stop spinning, it just keeps going. The most important person in history could pass away and the world would just keep on turning like nothing ever happened. So that's why today I wanted to talk about why maybe you're focusing on your legacy a little too much. Like I said, if you were important, the world stops maybe for a day. People like politicians and public figures and other people like that. If you are super important, it's definitely a day. People like Kobe Bryant, Chadwick Boseman, people like that. Say you're Michael Jackson or Prince and other hyper influential people, then you'll get more than a day and maybe 3 days at the most. I think a lot about the legacy I'm gonna leave behind. I've said in multiple videos that I don't want my legacy to just be that I made a lot of money and I didn't help advance a greater cause for society and for the world. I want to be known for leaving a good legacy instead of just making money for myself and calling it a life. But then I was thinking, what's the point of leaving a legacy? What's the point if I'm doing all these things but I won't get to enjoy the respect that comes with it? Because most of the time, like I said in this video up here, people never get their flowers while they can still smell them. One word that gets thrown around a lot nowadays is generational wealth. I'm sure you've heard it before. People want to make sure their kids don't have to worry about money. And for the record, I don't have a problem with that. I've been playing a lot more of the argument in favor of that side in this situation, actually. I used to think, why would people only want to leave money for their kids and not be regarded as somebody that made a positive impact on the world? But now I'm like, what's even the point of that? It's like I'm gonna be forgotten eventually anyway. You can make the argument that yes, your legacy will probably last longer than any money that you leave your kids, but how long does it take to forget what somebody did or someone's name? Maybe 3 generations? And then people won't even know who you are anymore? I'm sure there were people in the 1600s that were very important, but their names just got lost to history and now we go on like they never even existed. And to be honest, it makes you think so what's even the point of trying to leave a good legacy? And I know there are people that haven't been forgotten, like Beethoven and people like that. And I'm not saying that you won't make an impact on the world like them, but there's just an extremely small chance. Not being a pessimist though, just being logical. I still think that you can do anything that you put your mind to, let me be clear, but I should probably stop just killing people's dreams out here. But then again, I feel like you shouldn't want to leave a good legacy for people to know who you were and what you did. I feel like legacies are indirect things or a byproduct of the things that people create or the things that they do. If you look at someone like Einstein, for example, right? I'm willing to bet that he didn't do all those math equations and coming up with the theory of relativity just because he knew that it would change the world of science and how we perceive physics and stuff. He did it for the good of mankind, if you want to call it that. It's not that I'm living to impress people. I don't care about impressing people at all with the things I have, but I guess I wanted people to remember my work. I want people to watch one of my videos and I want them to pass on that knowledge to their kids and then their kids, and then hopefully somebody fills my spot because these YouTube videos probably won't last forever. If YouTube somehow disappeared tomorrow, all these videos and videos from your other favorite creators would just cease to exist, which is kind of scary. It's like all that work just going down the drain basically. But like I said, I want to play devil's advocate for the other side of the argument. I remember I used to think that if people just wanted to leave money behind for their kids, that they only cared about money and that was it. they didn't care about anything else except making money, and that it was the wrong way to look at life. But then as I got older, I realized that my way of thinking isn't the only way of thinking, and that other people are entitled to live how they want to, and now I don't see an issue with it. If you want to leave behind $10 million for your kids, then you do you. I'm happy for you because you're doing what you want with your life, and I'm happy for your kids because they'll be getting a very nice nest egg, I guess you could say, to start and hopefully build something with. I remember a ton of people coming up to me at my mom's memorial and them telling me how she made a positive impact on their lives. She worked at the elementary school that I used to go to, and there were tons of teachers there and kids there and other people that came up to me and said how much she helped them. And then I was like, you know what? I want to be like that. I want to leave a positive impact on other people. I want other people to remember me for that. But then I read this comment on Reddit, and it said that the idea of leaving a legacy is just ego and self-importance talking. And I remember reading that and I was like, am I doing all this for the wrong reason? Not the wrong reason of trying to help people and, for them to not make the same mistakes that I did, but I mean for the wrong reason, like trying to leave a good legacy just for my name to be remembered. It's like, why am I even trying to leave a legacy if eventually I'm going to be forgotten? What's the point then? Was I doing all this for my gravestone to read that I left a lasting legacy on the world? Was I doing all this for future generations, or just because I wanted them to know who I was? Well, to be honest, I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to have ulterior motives when it comes to leaving a legacy, because then it's not 100% authentic or real. You know what I mean? It's like when you see those big corporations and they say that they're going to make this charitable donation. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm making a charitable donation to one of my friend's charities, but, to the public it looks good, but I'm only doing it for tax write-off purposes. So, here you go. You see this good I'm doing for the world? It's like at that point, you might as well not even make the donation because there are ulterior motives. Anyway, I thought about it a lot and I decided to change the goal. I decided that instead of just wanting people to remember me, I want to leave the world in a better place than I found it. If that means helping reduce my carbon footprint, then okay. If that means not throwing away as much food as I do, because something like 40% of the food gets thrown away in North America, which is unbelievable, then I'll do my best to try and help that cause also. I think many people get so caught up in leaving a legacy or leaving behind generational wealth that we forget that at the end of the day, we're all going to be in the ground at some point, and eventually we'll all be forgotten no matter how many people's lives we had an impact on. I don't know. I don't really know the point of this video, but I do think that if we all came together to work as one collective unit, we would have a lot better time going through and getting through the hardships that humanity is facing, such as climate change, animal extinction, and other things like that. Because we have to remember that the earth was fine before us, and most of the animals were here before us and they were thriving. And if humans disappeared tomorrow, everything would go back to normal and be perfectly fine without us. I think a legacy that humans should be working to leave behind is one where if, say, other beings come to visit Earth millions of years from now, they won't just see that we extracted every ounce of resources from the Earth that we could, but we actually tried to help and preserve nature, because it's where we came from after all. I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out there. At the end of the day, I want you to leave a legacy that you're proud of. If that means leaving money to your kids and you don't care about your name being remembered, then okay. If you want your name to be etched in history for you to be remembered, then I think that's a good thing too. Either way, all we can do is work towards the things that we want and let the chips fall wherever they do in life. And as always, thanks for watching.